99.3 Nigeria info. I have just 11 minutes for this conversation and I want to go straight into it, give you some background. Welcome to Global Review. Every Thursday at 4 p.m. we take you outside the shores of Nigeria to talk about other countries other than our country. Tonight we're looking at Zambia, where an old colonial era law is suddenly the heart of a big national debate. Now, just last month, 2 men were convicted under Zambia's Witchcraft Act of 1914 for allegedly plotting to kill the president using supernatural powers. Yes, in 2025. In a modern African democracy, a law written by colonial masters over 100 years ago was used to send 2 men to prison for witchcraft. Here's the thing. This isn't just about Zambia. It raises deeper questions for all of Africa because according to Zambia's law, Zambia's own Law Development Commission, nearly 79 of Zambians say they believe in witchcraft. If the majority of the people believe it, can the law ignore it? So I have an opening question and I want it to be abandoned between us. Because of the time I have, I can't bring a guest on because I know that we have a lot of adverts on this segment. Should the government or any government in the world in 2025 be prosecuting people for witchcraft, or is this just a colonial relic that has no place in modern law? Let's dig in. So here are some facts, because this is hard fact. The Witchcraft Act was introduced in 1914 during the British colonial rule in northern Rhodesia, which is now Zambia. The law makes it a crime to profess knowledge of witchcraft or possess charms or objects said to be used for witchcraft. The recent case that we're making reference to on the show today, 2 men were caught in Lusaka, which is the capital, with a live chameleon, powders, animal parts, and charms. They allegedly claimed that they had been paid to bewitch the president. They were sentenced to 2 years in prison with hard labor. Now, critics obviously are not finding this funny, and they say the law is vague and unfit for modern times. I mean, a Zambian academic, Gankanani Moyo, has called it a piece of legislation that attempts to outlaw a practice that they themselves do not understand. Supporters of Mr. President and this whole witchcraft-y law argue that the law is necessary because accusations of witchcraft often cause fear, panic, mob justice, and sometimes even killings. So do they have a point? So what do we do with laws like this? Keep them, reform them, tweak them, or just scrap them, because who needs all this drama in 2025? Anyway, I want to talk with you about this because we also live in a part of the world that we believe in witchcraft. We see them in our movies. It makes debuts in our Nollywood movies. I know that even in some Hollywood movies, there's witchcraft. Maybe subtle and not as crazy as what we believe in parts of Africa and Latin America. So the argument for believing in witchcraft and the fact that, look, because there's witchcraft and people believe in it, there's always that tendency of people wanting to be mobbed, of it instilling fear. So if people know that there's a law against practicing of witchcraft or using any form of tactics of witchcraft to instill fear, people would just, lay low and just, not make it non-existent. But there are those who are also saying, why even have a law? Because having a law makes you believe that it even is in existence. It means that you believe that it can harm you, it can touch you. But why are you making laws on stuff that you don't even understand how it works? Now, this conversation is for the traditionalists in my audience. If you practice, I want to call my colleague's name now, he knows. If you practice odd magic or a little bit of babalawo things, or you believe in, the water spirits and those that give children and all of those things, and that you can harm people with just touching them or or invoking their spirits with mirrors and stuff like that. This is a conversation. Why do you think that in 2025 this should be our problem? I'll tell you why I want to have this conversation. When I was a child, I used to hear our elders say, oh, in Nigeria or in Africa, our witchcraft is to destroy one another. But the Oyibo witchcraft is to build planes and build fighter jets and go to the moon and do all kinds of things and do new researches and have new breakthroughs. But ours is to destroy ourselves. So was the Gambian or the Zambian president right to say, let them go to jail and rot? Because why are you using your jazz or your juju to try to bewitch me or destroy me? Why can't you use it to better your lot? Have you ever checked the Babalawo's place that you go to? He lives in a hut. He doesn't have it. He doesn't live in a palace. The guy that you go to say, please make me rich. Is this why we're backwards in everything in this part of the world? Because of the things that we still believe in? I want to open up the phone lines. Let's talk, guys. I have very little time. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. This is Global Review and we are in Zambia, former Northern Rhodesia. We're talking about witchcraft law. Should it be scrapped? Should it be allowed to stay? What are your thoughts in general? Let's talk. Hello?
Hi, Mary. I greet you again.
Yes. Yes, 60 seconds.
This is unbelievable, honestly.
So you don't believe in juju? You don't believe in...
I can't say. Do they have any proof, any evidence? I beg you. We would like to...
They just saw them with a live chameleon, some powder.
What I'm thinking... See, Mary, I think this might be his political opponents. You know, he doesn't want to put them there. But I think such laws should be scrapped, you know. At no point.
Okay.
I mean, keeping such law, yeah. That you scrap it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. But there are those who just believe that, look, these things have some potency. And if we must keep it at bay, we make a law to shut it down. Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes.
Good evening, Abby. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Izzy. How now?
I did a long time. You know they call me, you know they ask of me. Which one now? What do I do now?
Please, Izzy, are you my boyfriend? I don't understand. What's the problem?
Una go create a number where we know the Lagos go they call. No be say we go just try from month to month. We no go get.
Izzy, your time is going. Oga. You have 30 more seconds.
That witchcraft, I think the one where we practice CSF is more than that. I think if they can put more fire on it, so that it will go, all of us go turn to winch, then it's better. Let them leave it. Let them bring it to Nigeria. We will welcome them.
Please get off the phone. But on a serious note, this is a law that is about 100 years old. Don't forget. Also, in some parts of the Western world, witches were burned to a stake. The moment they realized that you were doing anything that has to do with charms and blah, 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 they were burned to a stake. But today, in the United States of America, in New Orleans, in the French quarters, there's a lot of juju and jazz. It's known as the voodoo capital. There's no law against it. Why are we still there in 2025? Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Today calling back from it, right?
Go ahead.
You know, I thought that if eventually something like that is occurring in our nation, I mean, I can use it to assist our nation. I think our nation will go forward. And this means that we are into.
But the people who were arrested were not trying to use it to better the lots of the president. They wanted to bewitch the president.
If eventually the president is not doing right things to their citizens, to their fellow citizens, what do you expect? As if it is physical, that we must use this something that will make our nation good. We eventually.
Well, I think the question is: do you believe in witchcraft? See,
is there any country that we have in this global that there is no witchcraft?
So you believe in it, and you believe that there's a potency to it.
God creates so many people.
Okay.
So many things that God created that we don't know that we know.
Okay. All right. Tunde, thank you very much for calling. Unfortunately, we have very little time to have this conversation, unfortunately. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on this issue. This one says, since you said 70% of the citizens believe in it, then it has nothing to do with colonialism. Now, pastors, they fear this nonsense belief since now them they see the demons for people head. This is from Greenish. All right. This one here says, Maryann, oh, sorry, Yemi, I think I have read that message before. I do not have time. I would have loved to take more thoughts on this particular issue. Unfortunately, our time is up and we have a lot of ads to come right after this. So we will revisit this conversation again. This time I'll bring a guest from Lusaka. I had a classmate when I was in Makerere University who's a journalist from Zambia. And he will be joining me to have that conversation next week. Hopefully we have enough time to address this issue. But I just wanted to, wet your palate with this conversation. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. On the other side of the clock, on 5 o'clock hour, we'll be talking about youth and the future under this administration. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
You didn't find where you fit bed sharply. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.